and smart and involved and just really connected to the community and making sure that she uses her platform to educate people. So she's good people. And she was a host for
Say what?
my
Oh,
fundraiser
what is it?
Okay.
that for my campaign that we had last month. So she was an event host, and she brought some folks and maxed out on my campaign, which was incredible. And she's been great.
I
She's
can't
been
hear it.
great.
Yeah, she actually invited me. That's where you and I first met.
Yes, yes.
Yeah,
I'm
that was great.
I'll be looking for your contribution.
Yes. Okay, absolutely.
No, wait,
Good
what you
move.
waiting for?
Good move.
Hey, Cheryl.
Great
Hi,
job.
What's happening,
Great
y'all?
job.
What's happening? You know, we headed to Outfest and that whole thing, so we're on the run. Are
Yes.
you all coming? Anybody else coming?
Yeah,
Yes.
I'm coming as soon as we wrap up the live.
Okay. Amber, everybody loves you.
Oh,
Amber is not here.
Oh,
yes.
she's
Yeah,
No, Shirley.
Marquita is here.
I know
I'm
what you meant. I know what you
Yes.
I got the glasses on. I can't see nothing. I'm trying to be cool.
Okay. Well, you look
They say
great.
beauty hurts. Beauty hurts.
Oh, tell me about it. Any
Marquita.
tip?
Marquita,
Uh-huh.
can you hear me?
Yes.
So I can barely hear because I'm outside here, but but with the time delay, did we miss the election?
No. The election is in November. I'm fundraising right now. It's a huge money raise. So I got started early, building up my endorsements, making sure a lot of people know my platform, just getting out there, shaking hands, kissing babies, and just building up the platform. The campaign is very
All right,
strong.
Aaron. Okay.
I don't know if I should say this. I outraised our current mayor in the end of year filings. So that was really, really exciting. I still have a long way to go, but that was just really great. And it just shows how strong the campaign is. And that's not a slight towards her. I love our current mayor, but I did outraise her. And I have some great endorsements. And right now, yeah, it's just fundraising mode right now.
Marquita, well, first of all, congratulations on your fundraising so far. And hopefully all those that are watching can check out your platform and support you where appropriate. I have a question as it relates to the role politics plays in the community. Can you share a little bit about the importance of politics?
Sure. So I'll just talk about on the local level. When you're an elected official, you can put forth items and make recommendations about, awareness programs like, Lesbian Visibility Day or a lesbian speaker series. You can set aside city resources for nonprofits and local events. You can suggest advisory boards and commissions to support different communities. Here in West Hollywood, we have a lesbian and gay advisory board, a trans advisory board, a disabilities advisory board, senior advisory board, just like a lot of different advisory boards and commissions. You can waive fees for events at city-owned properties, and you can give, significant funds to community events. And you can support legislation that impacts certain communities, and also like create events. And you can even put forth an item to study an issue and create a plan to address the issue. So there's a lot of things that you can do, especially at the local level, to build community and impact change.
Awesome.
Marquita,
I have.
I'm sorry, Cheryl. I was just going to piggyback on that. So, as a native Chicagoan, I'm curious as to why WeHo, when there's other communities where, we've got a stronger presence as people of color. Why that community for you?
So I moved to West Hollywood right out of college. I had a friend who lived here, and I moved in with her. And just 2 years ago, it was a very, very long time ago. It was a very long time ago. I moved to West Hollywood 26 years ago. I live in the exact same apartment. Obviously, I don't have a roommate anymore because But I moved to this neighborhood 26 years ago, and I couldn't imagine living anywhere else. I actually love this city. I think that it's very accessible. I think that with all the different, advisory boards and commissions, there's a lot of opportunity to get involved. It's a world-class, innovative, creative city. It's funny because I actually went to Paris for the first time last year, and I was in Paris and I was there the first 3 days. Like, I don't get it. What's so great about the city? And on the fourth day, I was like, okay, I think I get it, because, people are out and they're drinking and they're eating like 10, 11 o'clock at night. And I was like, oh, for some people, this is a big deal to be out, this late at night on a Monday, but we do that all the time in West Hollywood. We're just always just kind of like out, people watching, eating great food, having a little cocktail here and there, marching about something, or we're just always out. It's a very, very vibrant city.
Marquita, you mentioned living in West Hollywood for 20 plus years. And on the show earlier tonight, we were talking with Amber, and the topic came up of just how people of color feel embraced in the city. I'm a Southern Californian person as well. I've been living here from Detroit for 36 years or so, and have experienced West Hollywood over the course of those decades, and had a really lovely experience. But what we also hear is that many people of color don't feel welcome in the city. They feel like there is differential treatment or disparaging treatment of them when they visit West Hollywood, and kind of look at it through a very different lens. As a woman of color yourself, who is a member of that community, what might you offer in response to that perspective?
I think that's a valid point. And I know that, keep in mind, every business is different. So every business is owned by a different person who have, different values, different thoughts. And so you can go into one venue and have a bad experience and go next door and have an amazing experience. And so unfortunately, those business owners then become the representative of the entire city. And unfortunately, that's really difficult to, address. But businesses change, management changes, and the city has actually done quite a bit to try to address some of the issues in the city and communities of color. So we actually have a new commission, the Social Justice Task Force, and that particular body is tasked with addressing, the different disparities for communities of color in West Hollywood. And I actually have actually offered advice to that particular body, because I've been working with the city for a couple of years to basically have inclusionary procurement, which basically means, for municipalities, it's amazing that you welcome people into your city, but are you contracting with those people? Are you putting your money where your mouth is? And so essentially what it would be was a supplier diversity program, and the city's gotten pretty far, and I think that they're going to be announcing. I can't speak for the city. I do not represent the city, but based on the conversations I've seen, they will be pulling the trigger on that in the next couple of months. But basically, what supplier diversity does is it connects a municipality's contracts, and they actively look for people in marginalized communities to connect to those opportunities. It's not affirmative action. But what it is saying, we've got these contracts. Are we getting these contracts to, communities of color, to women, to LGBT people, to veterans, or are we using the same people over and over again who may not be of, a disadvantaged community? As I do that work, that's a huge part of what I do at the Chamber, is connecting diverse communities, particularly LGBT small business owners, to large-scale contracts with utilities, corporations, municipalities, and the federal government.
Okay, Marquita, what would be some of the charges that you would have, or how would you encourage everyday citizens to support your cause? Like, what would be something that you would want to tell everyone? This is how you can really help or be a part of your movement.
Absolutely. And I really appreciate that question. Before I answer, though, I just want to say that, I think if you are a person of action and you care about the community, please consider running for office. Consider anything, school board, anything. I don't care. Run once, run twice, run 3 times, run until you win.
I love it. Love it.
We can't, keep appealing to decision makers, we have to become decision makers. So, and we also have to support people who are looking to take our values to whether it's a city council or it's to like larger office. And so, consider supporting the campaigns of people whose platforms are in line with your values, and give till it hurts. There are very few Black people, and very few Black queer people, very few Black lesbians in office. And so, oh, by the way, I'm the first Black person to run for West Hollywood City Council.
I was getting
Wow.
ready to say, my girl, let me say
That's
this.
a special
Thank
note.
you. Thank you for
Yes.
having the guts that it takes. I loved your energy from the beginning, your chutzpah, and I just do the darn thing. I love you. I love you.
You are so wonderful. But to answer the question, I'm gonna tell you the reason more people of color don't win is because we don't have enough money. So it's about money. I'm gonna be straight up honest with you. Like, I would love for you to make calls and knock on doors, and that's great. I am not going to turn that down. Please, I would love that as well. But it's about money. Campaigns are very expensive. They're very, very expensive. And so right now it's about money. Marquita, the number 4 WeHo.com, and then there's a little donate button. You do not have to live in West Hollywood. You do not have to live in West Hollywood. But yeah, just that support. And also, if you live in West Hollywood, and if I can just come to your home and you invite other West Hollywood people to come and hear my platform, there's a huge value in that. So, little house parties, money, volunteering. Those are the biggest ways.
Thank you.
Thank you for that, Marquita. Thank you for that, Marquita. We're sorry. We're trying to get ourselves ready and get to this Outfest kickoff event. Our
Please forgive
schedule,
us.
I don't know if we've ever been this busy.
Before you go, I have a question.
I'm still here, yeah.
It's kind of a heavy question, but
okay.
there are probably many answers, but whatever comes to mind. My question is, a lot of people, a lot of Black people, a lot of queer people. Mm-hmm. How would you say the experience of a Black lesbian differs from that of a Black gay male?
Ooh, that's a good question. How does it differ? As a woman, obviously we have to deal with misogyny, and as well as racism. So there's definitely that. Women just in general have unique challenges. We still, because we're women, we have pay disparity. So, there's that. And then there's, like I said, like misogyny and just how women are treated in general. So, I mean, you're right. It is a heavy question. I think that particularly in this city, I think that the city is far more receptive to Black gay men than it is to Black gay women. But it's still an amazing city, and we still have a good time here. So like I said, I love this city, and I really couldn't imagine living anywhere else. And I want more Black people to move here because I get lonely. But I'll be honest. Like, sometimes I'll see, a Black person walking down the street, and I'll be like, "Hi, can we be friends?" Yeah. But I do see it getting better. I do see more people of color, particularly Black men in the city, far more than I've ever seen before. I will say that.
Aaron, I thought that was a very provocative question. I'm curious what your thoughts are on that.
Well, I think it goes back to what I said. There's a huge, pay disparity. You've got, you've got white men, and then you've got white women, and then you've got Black men, and you've got Black women. And so you're like 4 tiers down on the pay. And West Hollywood does have an inclusionary housing ordinance where we do have a certain amount of affordable housing, but it's very expensive to live here. It is very, very expensive. And so when you're part of a marginalized community that has this pay gap, it becomes even more difficult to live here because, the rents here are, but we do have an inclusionary housing ordinance. I do want to say that. So we do make an effort to provide, affordable housing in the units in the projects that are built here in the city.
I want to say that the rents in LA, period, something's got to give. Something's got to change. And I think the change is happening. I always say the revolution is being televised. The other point I'd like to make, it made me, I was devastated when I came down to this whole conversation of Black men have to protect Black women, and I was just laughing about that because it was us on the enslavement plantation. Black women controlled it as far as I'm concerned, and we protected our men always as much as we could. So we are the mother of the earth, and no one needs to protect us. We are the protectors in my mind. Thank you. I'll pass the mic.
Well, Marquita, we're going to get ready to sign off. It's so exciting to see you. I think just your presence and your energy and people seeing you in the race. As you said, you're the first Black woman to run I think Black person, you said.
Thank you, yes.
That's right, to run in West Hollywood. I myself sit on the California Redistricting Commission, and just that presence of being out there in the political space and people seeing us is inspiring in and of itself. Right. So I think that involvement, one of the things that I've learned in my tenure with the commission is people really don't fully understand the impact of the political system. So I think the more that we can not only be a face, but to really help people understand that power beyond just the vote. So get out there, support Marquita, find out what her platform is about, be inspired, get involved, and push that donate button.
And I'm coming door to door. I'm going to walk in West Hollywood door to door with you all. Okay.
Yes, Antonio. Before you go, I'm so glad you mentioned commissions. People can get on. I'm the first woman of color on the planning commission here in the city of West Hollywood. And prior to that, I was a human services commissioner. I was on the Lesbian Gay Advisory Board, the Lesbian Visibility Board. I was been on the board of LA Pride. So you're right. It doesn't have to be politics. You can just get out there, get involved, and lend your hands and your skills and your thoughts and your values to whatever you're interested in.
We want to give you we want to make sure we give you the final word, Marquita. So take us out. What do you want the public to know?
Thank you. First of all, I just want to, hats off to all of you for all the wonderful work that you're doing. There's so much really horrible legislation around the country in Texas and Florida. And so your presence, your representation, your positivity is needed more than ever. So I actually just want to do a hat tip to you and thank you for giving me this platform. And anybody who wants to find out more about me, it's Marquita, 4weho.com.
All right. With that, we'll see you guys shortly. Aaron and Cheryl and Chris.
Yeah.
All right. Good night, everybody.
Thank you, Marquita. You were wonderful.
God bless you guys.
And I haven't forgotten about the donation.
Thank you.
We'll get on the site, Chris, and hit donate.
God bless you guys.
Y'all.
Good night.
Good night.
Marquita.